Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Thundercats Lair. Today we're streaming a little earlier because we got awesome special guest here, Egmond, also known as We Want More Thundercats, joining us today. So we're streaming a little early. Jay is not joining us right now. He might jump in later on. But what's going on, Egmond? How's everything? What's new?
Well, it's almost bedtime, so it's going well. It's going well. It's
Crazy.
time
The
to go
day's just
rest.
barely starting for me.
Yeah, no, it's all good. It's been busy for Thundercats lately. Extremely busy.
Oh
That's and
man,
that's that's
yes.
that's really exciting. Lots going on.
Yeah, definitely. On the end of, obviously Super 7, of course, with a lot of stuff, some surprise, that surprise pre-sale that just dropped. Um, the Safari Joe Wave shipping now. I mean, there's so much crazy stuff coming out. The DXs hitting store shelves and online retailers. I mean, it's just a plethora of Thundercats goodies, and not to mention, I know it's not really in your wheelhouse, but the Mondo 1/6 scale Mumbra is scheduled to ship in a few weeks. So that is like, oh, on top of Super 7, we've got like high end, like amazing Mumra scheduled to be under the Christmas tree this year. So yeah, it's just an amazing time to be a
And
Thundercats
he's going
fan.
to be a beast. That
Oh,
that that
dude,
figure I saw is massive. It's
I've
massive.
seen it twice in person, and I got to tell you, man, you have no idea. It's like it's probably close to 14 inches tall, man. You know, and the amazing thing about the folks at Mondo is that they put so much forethought into their production in the sense that they they think about how their stuff could complement existing collections. So, they have a Mumra the All Powerful that you can actually
Yes,
pop on
yes,
the
yes,
figure and it can
yes.
coexist with your Super 7 figures. So, Eggman, just throwing this out there, if you want to ever own a Mondo, that might be the one to pick up because it can
Oh, well,
actually
it will fit in scale. It's definitely
it
going to fit in scale. Yes,
yeah, you could put him
because
like
with
behind
that
the
head,
mountains or something.
yes, yes. No, those things are rather expensive when you consider where I live. So
Yeah.
it's a bit of a challenge. I know. There's a guy in Cape Town that has a lot of them, and I recall when Battle Cat shipped and Panther shipped, um, they were pricey and big.
Oh,
So
and they're
so
massive.
it
Yeah.
so
It takes up a lot of
that's
space. So if you're
um
limited in space in your collection area, that's something that
well
definitely could be a deterrent.
yes, of course, space is definitely a big issue, but um there was a point in my life where I needed to have everything, and I just couldn't do it anymore. It just didn't make sense, not just financially but space wise. I mean, when this beast was announced, it was like, okay, I need to make a plan now. So
Yeah.
I just cut everything. I just stop, focus. Well, my wallet's still not happy, but it's better. So
Yeah, no, I hear you, man. So let's
I'll
see what's
admire
going
from
on.
afar.
Let's see what's going on in the chat. So here we got Jordan from Canada. What's up, man? Oh, well, catch him later. Yeah, eventually, I guess we'll catch him later. That was actually not your first comment. It was Thundercats. Oh, we've got Kriva Prod. Oh, Kriva Prod. Jordan from Canada. Hello from France. So we got someone tuning in from Canada and from France. That's awesome. Let's see who else is in the
Bonuit.
chat. Anybody else? We got Road Pig John is in the house. What's up, Road Pig John? How's everything going with you? Super 7 does great Thundercats figures and at a better price than Yeah, but come on, Road Pig John. We're talking about 7-inch figures. Mondo cannot make 12-inch figures for 55 or $65, dude. Come on. It's not a matter of pricing. It's a whole other scale. You know, if
Yeah, it's
if
a different scale.
yeah, if Super 7 was doing 12-inch scale figures, they would be the price of Tiamat. Let's be honest. That's just the way it works. It's the bigger the item, the bigger the collectible. the bigger the cost, you know. So obviously, Super Seven does a lot of scales because they've done Tiamat, they've done this like the jumbo, like um, kaiju type stuff, and Japanese retro stuff that's really big. The cyborg, um, exoskeleton looking characters and stuff. So it's those things are really pricey. I got the Super Seven creature from the Black Lagoon, Super Cyborg. That's really awesome. That you can see the insides of it and everything.
Hmm.
That thing was pretty pricey. I think it was like 150, $175, and it doesn't really move a lot. So when you add articulation and all that stuff, the stuff gets expensive. Um, Road Pig John, I want to see Super Seven Ultimates of
Yes,
Tashi and her
yes,
copy.
yes,
Ah,
yes, yes.
those would be
Please.
amazing choices, man.
I like
Amazing.
these Egyptian stuff going on. It's really there's I spoke with somebody the other day. There's so many Egyptian influences in here, which
Yes,
and Tashi and the crocodile guys are just they're just perfect. They just fit in here. So with Wizra coming, I mean, who wouldn't want Tashi? A
yes.
bit more of Egypt.
And Kriva Prad says, "Will you talk about the Safari Joe issue?" So interesting that you're bringing up an issue with Safari Joe. Egmond, you got your Safari Joe wave?
No,
Not yet.
not yet. No.
Okay, I don't have mine yet. I already got a pre-shipment notification from Big Bad Toy Store, so I should be getting them hopefully in the next week or so. I have seen two examples. I've seen a discolored example, and I've seen a correct example. So sadly, we didn't know about this prior to our conversations with Brian, because that's something we could have brought up. But I am pretty sure that there's going to be some that slip out with the discolored body parts, and some that have been corrected. Hopefully, most of them will be corrected. But I have seen where I believe it's like the sleeves and then the torso
Mm,
are
yes,
slightly a
yes.
different tone. And
I,
yeah, I think that was probably corrected.
I'm not sure that there's two things that I know for a fact. Now, the first thing is pictures are very deceiving. I mean,
Hmm.
so many of the characters behind me that I saw pictures of first was like, that might be a problem. But when you get it in hand, it's completely different. The moment the flash goes off, or if it's not in a specific kind of light, the contrast will be a lot different. So that's the one thing I know, and it highlights issues a bit more than what they actually are in hand. And then the other
Right.
thing is it might be that the arms were assembled by a different team versus the torso bit, and so the shading, because what from the pictures that I saw is that the shading looked a bit different on the arms than what it looked here. So it was like a different mix match when they were put together. I don't know if they even picked up on it. I don't know. The thing is, I have seen it, but I will only comment on it really when I get mine in hand, because I can't comment on it and I've learned that the hard way. You don't comment on things if you don't have it. It's noted. It's definitely noted. I'm not saying it's not true. I'm just saying I'd rather like to see it myself, and then I'll give my opinion, because I mean it's no use commenting on it from my side.
You know
I'll
what? I
take note of
agree.
it, but that's as
I
far as I
agree with
go.
you because the lighting could be very tricky at times, where you get a perception of discoloration. Perfect example. I recently did a video on my Instagram talking about the new retro toy colors DX Lino and how the hands do not match the forearms. And that is, in fact, a fact. In hand, I was able to prove it. Basically, the reason being, I think, is because the type of plastic that they're using for the main body parts is not the same plastic as the hands. So it seems like what they did was they molded the hands in a plastic that
In the color,
resembled the color,
yes,
because
yes,
probably the paint doesn't catch and doesn't stay on the type of plastic they use for the hands. So I see how that sometimes is a challenge.
yes.
However, it's kind of like uh, a hit or miss because I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Egmont, I think the first iteration of the LJN Toy Colors Lion-O, it's a lot more seamless when you see the paint from the hands to the forearm. And I think it's because maybe they used some different plastic or a different technique, but it's a lot more evident in the DX version, where you can notice the change of tone in those two.
Well, what I know about toy making is dangerous. So, um, my logic says that the like you said that the hands were cast in the color. They weren't painted. So
Right.
why, if it's because of it's a different plastic, that the consistency, or when it hits the light, it doesn't, the plastic surface doesn't react to light the same way that the plastic used on the Ultimates one, like you just mentioned. Because I don't remember anything about the Ultimates one having their hands being so different in color. The
Right.
other thing is the shade that they used on the plastic for the DX one, because obviously that was painted. That shade of white, if you want to call it white, was a different, or didn't take to the plastic the same way that the color took to the hands when it was molded. So while it might on paper be the exact same color, the way that it reacts with the plastic might be different. I don't know. I can't comment on that. I'd love to, but that's just what my thought pattern goes. Is maybe
Yeah.
there has to be a reason. I don't know.
Crevaprod says exactly. I think it comes from the plastic used. Um, oh, we got José Vidal Hernández. Saludos a ambos y gracias por el contenido sobre los Thundercats que tanto amamos. Me gustaría saber si hay alguna actualización sobre Snow Meow y si creen que Tigra deberían adaptarlo a los nuevos escalas. Okay, so I'm going to translate for you. So
Yes, please.
he says hello to both of us and thank you for the content about Thundercats, for such a loved brand. He would like to know if there has been any updates on Snow Meow and if we think that they will be adapting um,
Tigra.
Tigra in the new scale. I'm assuming what he means by scale is probably the pinless bodies. So I'm going to answer this in Spanish. Saludos, José. Recientemente, no sé si viste la entrevista que tuve con Brian la semana pasada, pero eso fue uno de los temas que hablamos. No hablamos de Snow Meow, pero Tigra definitivamente, aunque no fue confirmado, va a ser revisitado en el sentido de que van a hacer otra versión de Tigra con el cuerpo que no se ven los tornillos. Entonces, no sé si a eso te refieres, porque escala sería el tamaño. Pero sí van a hacer una versión 2.0 de Tiger. Al respecto de Snow Meow, no hemos hablado de ese tema hace rato, pero con los asuntos recientes en los Estados Unidos acerca de los aranceles y todos estos problemas, una figura así de esa escala más grande es mucho más difícil producir. Ojalá en un futuro, pero quién sabe. So what I told him in Spanish is that although we didn't talk about Snow Meow, due to the current situation with tariffs, I think that a larger scale collectible like that would be a lot more challenging at this time to produce, being that it's a larger figure. There's got to be more buy-in from the customer. And like Brian has mentioned a lot of times, he has to know that aside from those passionate collectors like you and I, there's got to be a wider audience to justify the release of such a figure. So while I would love to add that to the collection, I don't see that anytime soon. Probably maybe 2027 if we get that far. 2028, who knows? But and then
We'll
Tigra,
get that far.
I hope so. Yeah, I would see that. You know what? As a Comic Con exclusive, I think that would be a perfect Comic Con exclusive. But the question is, how do you release just Snow Meow and get that hype? I think you would need to have some sort of combo set. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm just saying. Um, so also I mentioned that Tigra is a figure that, while not completely confirmed, there was something that Brian kind of hinted with his facial expressions and stuff when I asked him that Tigra DX is definitely in the works. So it's something that we can look forward to, a pinless 2.0 body.
Tigra. A 2.0 version for Tigra.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because if you look at Tigra, the one that we had the elbow pad issue. Uh, then we had the paint colors where people were like, "That's not what was solicited." then it was fixed in the DX version, but he still looks like I don't know how I can say it.
Bulky.
If you look at Tigra, he looks next to the new DX animated Lionel. Tigra looks like he's taking steroids. Like he looks super
Bulky. Yes.
super bulky.
Yes.
So a slim down, more animation accurate,
I won't
pinless
mind.
Tigra.
I won't mind that.
Yeah. Um, then perfect. Let's see. Road Pig John. Perfect Egyptian wave would be Wizra Tashi with that would be amazing. Like if they were to present it that way, I don't think we will get something like that. I feel like one of the biggest challenges as a toy producer is coming up with a wave that, checks so many boxes for different collectors. Um, I think the Safari Joe wave did amazing in that, with including Mule, including
Hmm.
Nada, and including a new Berserker. That was awesome. Um, this new wave was going to be obviously Wizra, Red Eye, and Lion-O, but as Brian has already said, because of production, delays and stuff like that, he decided to push Wizra to a later date. Um, but I don't know if you missed this on my conversation with Brian Egmond, but I was throwing out the fact that I'm kind of happy that Wizra didn't come out, because the fact that the next wave is a four set, hopefully we get the return of a super pack. And how awesome will it be to get a Mumra with Wizra headdress head? And Brian's reaction to that was like, like he didn't say yay or nay, but it's almost like either he went, that's an awesome idea, we got to cook on that, or, huh, I think that's already happening. So, I think that's a perfect opportunity to have Wizra delayed so that we can hopefully get that Mumra alternate head with a Wizra headpiece. What do you think?
Yes. I like that idea.
So let's see. José Vidal Hernández. Muchas gracias por la respuesta. Sí, a eso me refería con Tigra, sobre si habría una rendición, una muy buena noticia y felicidades por su. Yeah, he said thank you. That's what he was talking about. It was in scale. He was talking about like a 2.0 Tigra body, pinless. So that's good news. And he said thank you so much for the great work. Okay, so Kriva Prod, indeed, Tigra should be thinner, but it asks a new mold. Yeah, it asks a new mold, but we already got new molds. We got the Rankin Bass body for Lion-O, and we got a brand new body for Panthro. So it's kind of like it's a justified thing.
He's a heavy hitter. Yeah, he's a heavy hitter. People will buy Tigra again. I think
Absolutely.
so.
And I've noticed that
And
Tigra seems to be the most sought after on the secondary market. When you look at Tigra's prices, they've stayed up there in like the hundreds. When it comes to like the first iteration of Tigra in the Ultimates package, obviously now he's out in DX for $35, but I believe the Invisible Tigra is also kind of up there in price as well because it's sold out. So yeah, I think Tiger is always going to be kind of like a must have for the niche and for broader Thundercats collectors because he's part of the core team.
yes.
So let's see. So all right, so it was really awesome because we both got to talk to Brian. I think we both got different questions answered out of him. I absolutely love the fact that you piggybacked on my question about including 2011 in the Ultimates by throwing in the double jointing thing. And it's so refreshing and exciting to know that the 2011 Thundercats are going to be double jointed. That's freaking awesome because, as you know, Eggman, I've always been a huge fan of the articulation portion. I like to put my figures in dynamic poses. And as I mentioned to Brian, and now it kind of makes sense what he was alluding to about Chitara is that we'll get the 2011 version of Chitara with double joints. and I'm perfectly happy with it. You know, it's a great figure. Don't get me wrong, but I just feel like Chitara, um, just the way the engineering is on the knees, it doesn't lend itself very well to running poses. That's pretty much it. I feel I get that Brian is not a fan of the articulation cuts and keeping that silhouette and stuff, but when it makes sense, it's a character that is known for her attributes being that she runs at the speed of a cheetah. So you have a character that's her main power. You want to be able to display her doing her main effect or her main power. And I feel like we cannot achieve that in a very realistic manner with the current figure that's out there. And that's just my personal opinion. I know a lot of fellow collectors share that same sentiment because it's just if you put her in a running pose, it's more like she's kind of stretching. She's like bending her knees, but she's not running. When you're running, you're like you're like on your tippy toes and you got one leg up in the air, and you can't do that with the Ultimates Chitara. So it's a challenge design wise. And I don't
Mm.
know who worked on that, if that was Kyle or one of the other designers, but it presents its challenges. And I feel like as a designer, where now I'm designing stuff and creating toys myself, you know, the tricky part is the engineering. Like you can have a vision as a concept artist, but then in engineering and production, they say, hey, that's not going to work, or that's going to be a
Mm.
lot more cost as far as budget for tooling, and it gets shot down. You could have the vision here, but it doesn't work at retail. So, who knows? I'm excited to see though that, for example, with Mondo, they're going to tackle that where they gave her toe tip articulation, and they're going to add the speed lines as an accessory that you can attach to like the back of the calf and stuff like that, where you can reenact that scene from the cartoons when she's running. So
Mm.
that while we only have seen the prototypes, we haven't seen her like the beautiful solicitation imagery yet. I know that figure is going to look amazing once you play around with all the accessories and put her in poses and stuff like that. But let's face it, not everybody can afford a 250 plus, collectible figure. So it presents those challenges as well, where that audience that buys Super 7 stuff is not necessarily buying the Mondo stuff because they can't afford it, or like in your case, like lack of space, or both. So
Or
it's just
living far
interesting,
away.
or living very far away. Well, I know Mondo ships worldwide, right? So I don't
No,
know.
I know it just for me it becomes a matter of I can buy four figures from Super Seven versus one.
Yeah,
It's obvious. I'll go for four. I will not go for one. And
yeah,
and and I like the scale. The thing is when I got into collecting, besides the vintage stuff, is I got in with the motor stuff. So that was the scale that I was used to, and I like that, and so I'm sticking with that. That's the scale I like. So it's just a preference. The price is obviously, but I mean, you pay for what you get. That is intense detail and variety and stuff in there. That is massive. So and it's big. It's you get what you pay for. But I'm quite happy with what I've got. So I'm okay.
yeah,
I'm happy for everybody that does. I mean, like I said, I know a guy who orders that stuff, but he likes that. He does collect Super Seven stuff as well, but the it's not for me. It's
right.
I'm this collector, but I've got nothing against it. It's
No,
just
no, it's
it's just
cool.
not
It's
me.
like I've told you this before. I wish I had the self control that you have, where you could just pick a niche and just buy one collection. I
Move,
can't, man. I'm like
move
so.
this side, move this side,
I'm
then you
so,
will. I promise you.
dude. It's such a challenge because not gonna lie. Like right now, for example, I just picked up this one, right? I picked them up at my local Target. He's a great figure. I love the fact that this happened because I was only able to get one of the Ultimates versions and I never opened it. So he's going to stay in box mint. And now I have this one to play with, which was a lot less out of my wallet. And now I have that toy aesthetic that I can display.
Yes.
But, you know, we've got Safari Joe, and these were, I believe they were in the $65 range. So Safari Joe, Crusher, and Nada. That right there is 200 plus, right? Um, this guy and Snarf, that's like another $80. So you're already at the $300 mark in 1 month, all put together. Then you've got in the next couple of weeks or by the end of the year, you've got like $130 more with King Lionel and Red Eye. So I get it. It's like $500 in a period of 30 to 45 days. It's not everybody can afford that, you know. The thing with Mondo, and it's available with Super 7 also, is that, you know, you could do the flex pay stuff. And so I paid for my Mumra, like I stopped paying for it like 3 months ago. So it's paid. So I don't have to worry about, oh, this is coming up and like, oh, that's gonna be a hefty hit on my wallet. Like I already financed it and it's paid off. So I don't really worry about that. And then the fact that it is what it is and Mondo knows. So they don't release the vast amount of product that Super 7 does in a yearly uh, way. So honestly, if you look at it this year, there was no Thundercats. This year, it's just Mumra in December because Lion-O shipped last November. So we've only gotten one figure per year. Chitara is scheduled to pre-order in January. So I'm thinking, well, she'll probably ship like late summer next year. And then
You
someone
can't say what's
else
next.
coming out will probably
Come on, tell
pre-order.
us. Give us an exclusive.
I really wish I could, but you know what? Now that we're on the subject of Mondo, let's see here. Oh, this is a good question. So Road Pig John asks, when do you think we will see Demolisher in the Ultimates line? I gotta tell you, Egmond, you've seen it when I post polls. I always post Demolisher. He's on my short list of most wanted figures. Him and Alto Maton, dude. Those two figures are so unique and badass.
You
I
like the
love it.
automaton?
Dude, I love him. I love him. He's so cool looking. Like somebody said, oh, but they can use the Hachiman body. No, they can't.
No,
Hachiman
they
is
can't.
a
Automaton
samurai.
is much bigger. Yes.
No, and Hachiman is a samurai, but Hachiman is not a
It's not a
cyborg
robot
samurai.
samurai. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I feel like I would love Demolisher. What do you think, man? Like how
Demolisher
soon?
has to come. He has to come with Dirge first of all. He has to
Oh,
come with Dirge with his steel
absolutely,
drum. Um,
absolutely.
and I mean, it's a dog in a cat's world, so that'll be cool. That'll be cool.
Yeah,
He's a dog. Well, yeah, he looks like a dog.
I
Um,
feel like Demolisher. Yeah, Demolisher looks like kind of like a Doberman Pinscher,
yes,
and
yes,
then
yes,
his sidekick is like an armadillo. Correct?
yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
So let's see.
It would be it would be really cool. I mean, he has a very um, it, unique look, and
Yeah,
it's always fun to see how Super Seven turns these 2D characters into 3D masterpieces. It sounds stupid, but to me, I always look at it figuring out how the hell did they do this? This is so cool because you don't realize you usually see the characters from the front. Do you even notice when they turn around, or do they really show them that often from the back? It's really I
no,
like how they do the designers are really fantastic. The designers really
yeah. I
do
mean, you
a
got to do
great
a
job.
lot of research. Again, something that I can't talk too much about. When I was doing some research on a figure that I designed, I had to do quite a lot of digging, and I reached out to you. I reached out to Thundercats now for some insight and some support because you got to do a lot of pausing,
Yes,
watching the
you do.
show and hitting
You do.
pause, and it's a big challenge. Mauro Bastianini says, "Hello there, Mondo rules, but hefty price." Yes, absolutely. Um, and oh, he's streaming from Venezuela. Saludos de Venezuela. Let's see. So, Road Pig John, what will be another successful Silverhawks wave in your book, guys? Referring to cartoon version figures, since the last wave was very successful for Super 7. Egmond, what do you think?
Uh, yes, man. Moonstriker. And what was on the tip of my tongue just now? Yes, man. Moonstriker. Yes, man. Poker Face. And then I wouldn't mind a two pack with Seymour and Zeke. But there's one other character as well. A lot of people have been asking for him, but those ones would be nice. Those ones would be.
Yeah,
I think
those are
people
great.
would be happy with them
Those are great picks.
because
I'm curious as to,
Time
I don't
Stomper.
know. Oh yeah, that would be a cool one. I mean, like, how many waves do you think Super 7 has left there? Like, I don't feel. I mean, I don't feel like it's like Silverhawks is as robust of
No.
a character fueled series that would justify as long of that of a toy line. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think I don't think Super 7 has I don't think Silverhawks has the legs to reach the lengths that Thundercats has.
Well, I mean, the ones that I mentioned, if that would be the final wave, I think that would be a good way to end it. I mean, there are other characters in there, but they are not as memorable as Nada and Willa. I mean, they are B-listers or C-listers in the Thundercats universe, but
Mhm.
but people remember them because they appeared in some of the very iconic episodes, and there's been 65 episodes of Silver Rock, so there's quite a lot to choose from.
Mhm.
I mean that one silly person that operates the sun. He's got a bulb head or something like that. I don't even remember his name now. Um, but I mean, there are some interesting designs in that universe. Some of those creeps that sit in the bar and um, uh, some of the bad guys. They got the weirdest designs, which would translate so cool in toys. But people would look at that and they will not go, "What is that? Which story is that from?" They will not realize it's actually from Silverhawks because it. I mean, we know that, but it's
Yeah,
there's nothing as that screams Silverhawks the way that Nada screams Thundercats. If you look at her,
right.
no, that's what I think. What do you think?
I think the same thing. I can honestly be completely candid where I don't have as much of a memory bank or connection to Silverhawks apart from honestly the toys because I remember the cartoons, watching them a little bit, but they weren't as resonant with me in my childhood as Thundercats. I could say that when you ask me what shaped my childhood and my memories, it would be Thundercats, number one, Masters of the Universe, number two, and Voltron, number three. Those were my core cartoons that I remember from my childhood. Silverhawks was something more like an ancillary show that I maybe caught once in a blue, but I'm not as versed in the characters and the library of you know narrative and stuff like that from that cartoon, and even less for Tiger Sharks. So I got to do my research now because I got to figure out where they're playing reruns of Silverhawks, and I want to see where I can catch reruns of Tiger Sharks because I want to be up to par as far as the memory banks are concerned when the launch happens. You know what I'm saying? Because um, something that was awesome and it was announced during our stream with Brian was the fact that we are getting Tiger Sharks finally, and that's going to be something that it was supposed to be this year, but unfortunately it didn't happen. And finally now we're getting we're getting Tiger Sharks, and it's super exciting. Um, Right here, we got some fan art from my buddy Miguel Bayon, also known as Motu Comic. When I told him about my interview with Brian, he's like, "Oh man, can I do some cartoons?" Like I'm like, "Go for it, dude!" And I kind of did a quick doodle for him, um, and he did this awesome cartoon of Brian presenting Tiger Shark. So 2026 official January 2026. What do you think, Egmond? Do you think we're gonna see like some sort of hint or silhouette or tease right around Christmas time for Tiger Sharks, or do you
Well,
think it's going
if
to be
it
like Minion?
well, I mean, it would probably go live in the first or second week of January, if not then the end of January. But um, I would say that if we do see anything, it would be a week before.
Yeah,
So whether it's that, and that's based on their trends. So if it's
like a week
not
before
the,
launch. Yeah.
a week before launch, it won't be much sooner, unless they heard your call of requesting, please can we have a tease of a silhouette or a something. But yeah, that's how they operate. So I've gotten used to if you see it, then you know next week it's a release time. So that's I'm glad I'm glad it's finally happening. I mean, when we got word of that 2 years ago or 3 years ago, when it was announced that they are definitely doing Tiger Sharks, but it's like taken a while. I mean, a lot of nonsense has happened ever since that was announced, and to finally have it now happening in January, that's good. I mean, it's just over 30 days, 40 days away, so that's it's not that bad. Then it's January, then it's next year.
Yeah, man, it's right around the corner. Um, so we were talking about Mondo, and I know you're not like a fan
This is
of
I
the
like this.
stuff.
I like this. We spoke about this. We spoke about this. I do like
Yeah, yeah.
seeing it at
So
last.
I wanted to put this out there because like I designed this probably earlier this year, and obviously it's based on the amazing work of Emiliano Santa Lucia. He did the original concept art for Mondo for the Lion-O figure that's currently out there, which is an incredible piece. I mean, I think it hits so many check boxes in the sense that we have coronation Lion-O. We have um, classic iteration of Lion-O. If you take the battle skirt off, you can have him with his speedos. Um, you've got the more like Mondoverse style sort of omens, but you also have the cartoon version with the exclusive. You get Snarf. I mean, it hits so many check boxes. It's like you got, for example, Super 7 has made probably three figures that represent everything that comes out in the Mondo one. So you're getting like a three pack or like a 3-in-1 or 4-in-1 with that lineup. And this was a no brainer. It's like how awesome would it be to have a convention exclusive next year, and they can reuse the body, paint him in the LGN colors, give him a new LJN sculpted head, give him LJN claw shield, the classic sword with the LJN deco, and then the icing on the cake would be a wearable prop ring, man. Like, I know some people were mentioned in the comments in Instagram that it would be awesome if the eyes light up. I don't need the light up feature. I would probably go more towards the glow in the dark eyes. Um, but in a 1/6 scale figure, it's so much bigger. There's a lot more space there for a battery source and stuff like that. It could totally happen. But even if it didn't have the light up feature, I think this would be such a big hit, even more so than their first release. I think this would sell more units than the first version of Lion-O. What do you think? Even though you don't collect
I
Mondo,
I would rather go for this.
I thought so, man.
I'm sorry that this is gonna sound really cruel or anything, but I don't like the Mondoverse look, and that is purely because I prefer this. This
Right.
if you can't give me cartoon accurate, um, then give me toy accurate. That I'm happy with either or. The thing is
Now, keep in mind
with
that this body,
with
though, is still the same body, so it still has the furry texture. It's just being painted.
that's my That's my downfall. I don't like that, but
I
I
know,
understand it. I get where it comes from, but
right?
I know when we spoke about it, well, that is a perfect use reuse of that sculpt, but with this new with this awesome toy look. Um, that would be fantastic. I would rather get that because it speaks to me a lot more, despite the additional detail on the skin, the fur or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I'd like to see that. I hope so. I hope the people at Mondo give you a call and
I
talk to you a
mean,
bit about that.
I shared it with them a while back. So
Okay.
if
Okay. Cool.
it's gonna if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. Um, it will probably be summer of next year, hopefully. But all I'm saying is, I get what you're saying with the fur. It was really like a divided thing, 50-50 amongst collectors, where a lot of collectors are like, I hate the fur. But when you look at it from the perspective of Mondo, and you look at what they've done with Masters of the Universe, right? Is their Mondoverse take on things has more of an edge,
Yes.
inclining towards realism, and it's more like if there was a feature film of Thundercats, what would they look like? Obviously, they are anthropomorphic felines, and cats are not hairless. So it makes a lot of sense. But I get it. A lot of people want that purely nostalgic aesthetic, what they remember, that image that's ingrained in their mind, what they remember seeing on the TV screen when they were little kids. Totally get it. And they have said it that this is not the only version of Lion-O. They will eventually get to a Rankin Bass based Lion-O.
Okay.
So, it's just, when will that be? Who knows? It could be 2 years from now, 3 years from now, you know, but it's something that they definitely have set in mind. So it's not something that's completely out of the cards. As far as, let's see, okay, so this was a good question from Creeper Prod at as Super Seven collectors. Would you guys consider Galaxy Rangers and or Bionic Six lines?
I would
So
love Bionic Six.
for me,
Please,
Bionic
please,
Six,
please, please.
yes, Bionic Six across the board. I would have to say I don't know what Galaxy Rangers is. Do you?
I know it. I know it. Yes, I know it. I never watched it.
Is that
Never
one
watched
more
it.
more like
I have
anime?
seen it, but oh god, it's like it's sort of like a
Let me see.
different. It's you know the cops in Brave Star that Western feel like
Oh
it sort
yes,
of
I
it
see
was
it.
it
I
they
see
kind of
it.
looked like that,
Yeah,
but I I have seen it, but I honestly don't remember much about it.
I've never seen this cartoon on TV. Um, I don't know if maybe it has to
I
do
never
with.
saw Silverhawks on TV. I never knew about
Really?
Silverhawks until a few years back.
Oh
I
wow,
have
that's
it
interesting.
never aired here. I don't even think Tiger Sharks ever aired here. I don't even know if the toys were sold here. I don't know.
Let me see.
So Bionic Six, yes, and yes, I would love that. I
Oh,
would
I
love
guess
it. I
this
would love
was
that. That
about Silverhawks, the taxi driver.
yes,
Was there a taxi driver in Silverhawks? I'm assuming that's what he
yes.
was talking
That's
about.
Seymour. That's Seymour. Seymour and Zeke. That's the two
Seymour.
pack I was asking for.
Okay. Let's see. Real Pig John says, I will add into that Silverhawks
That's the
waiting
one. That's the one.
for Bounty
The bounty
Hunter.
hunter. People keep
Okay.
asking for the bounty hunter. Yes,
Cool.
that's the one.
Let me see. As Egmond, I buy Super 7 figures for cartoon accuracy. This is why I stopped NECA. Well, I don't understand what he means because NECA has gone, they have surpassed what Super 7 has achieved with Thundercats with their Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon figures. Those things are, I'm so glad I'm
Those are
not a Turtles fan.
cartoon worky.
Yeah, I am so glad that I'm not a Turtle guy because, man, that collection is bonkers.
Yes,
You
it's
know,
massive, and
they did the Turtle
they
Van,
pull
they did
out different stuff.
the sewer play set. I mean, and they've done so many. The other day, I was at Target and they had a Rocksteady and Bebop 2 pack. Check this out, I don't even
Yes.
remember this episode, but that's how deep down the well they've gone, where they're almost at the Earth's core. That's how deep down they've gone. The They have a Rocksteady and Bebop, and it's like Rocksteady is a baby in a
Yes.
carriage, and
Yes.
is like the mom or the nanny in the
Yes.
nanny dress. That's how deep down the
I
well.
I don't even remember a lot of these characters or these variations that they bring out. I like seeing them come out, but
Yeah.
I don't even remember that. And I mean, Turtles was my after Thundercats. It was Turtles, and then it was Bionic Six, which were my favorite cartoons. So I don't even know if all the series of Turtles showed here, but um, there's a lot of things that they bring out that I don't even know. I don't know those characters or those iterations of them.
And again,
Wow.
it's because I think like I watched Turtles, but I think when Turtles was airing, I was a little bit older. So it was more like I was starting to transition into the video games, getting on my bike, going to my friend's house, playing outside. It wasn't so much of that sitting down watching cartoons, eating cereal, which was that was the prime time. That was when Thundercats was going on. And I wanted to tell you about this because I recently found out about this, and it's really interesting to find out about the history and lore of things. So, Egmont, did you know that when Thundercats was made, like the cartoon and everything, the IP, the purpose of it was solely to sell toys, and it was just like,
Yes.
so we're going to make this vehicle that's going to be a narrative. It's going to be on TV. It's going to teach kids about morals and stuff like that. But the goal was to sell these action figures, right? And it is crazy to think that the series went on for 2 years without action figure support in retail. So in 1987, LJN called it quits on Thundercats, but two more seasons of Thundercats aired after that. Isn't that bonkers? Like,
It's probably because they were already working on them at the time, and they were busy in production, so they let those they had been paid for, so they probably let them finish them off
well,
and
apparently there was a contract for 130 episodes with Rankin Bass, but LJN got cocky and they thought that they could replicate the success of their Thundercats toys with the LJN rubber wrestlers. Remember those? So they transitioned from Thundercats to doing those WWF superstars. And those figures did not perform as well as Thundercats did. So it was like a big gamble. And it's unfortunate because can you imagine if we would have gotten 2 more years of LGN figures in the 80s? Like, how much
yes.
other cool shit would have come out?
Yes, the stuff we've seen that's been teased. I mean, imagine how amazing that would have been. I only discovered the other day that there was a Tugmug LJN figure. The sculpt was there.
Yeah,
I've seen the picture of that sculpt. That was like, if only they had. I mean, that's two lunatics now that we know what they look like. Imagine if the lunatics had come out back then. I know somebody in France made custom lunatics, and those were beautiful. The LJN inspired ones, those were stunning. I wanted them so badly, but I'm glad we're
yeah.
getting the real stuff now. But
Oh
it's a
man,
pity. It's a pity how things turned out back then. But here we are, 40 years later, and we getting stuff now that we never ever would have gotten anyway. So
absolutely. And I wanted to ask you because I know you mentioned this with Brian as well, and I wanted to have an open discussion with you about it. Is the reissuing of vintage figures. So I don't know if Brian understood. I think he did because I made it pretty clear. Where I don't want complete reproductions of the LJN figures.
why not?
What I
I
would
want.
like, no,
I want it.
because it's true what he was saying. You're cannibalizing the
I know.
you're
I understand that.
cannibalizing the collective privilege to own vintage cats. You're kind of fucking up the value of their stuff, and I don't want that. What I want, and I want to see if I can find the pictures here. to share with you. What
I
I
saw
want
that. That's nice. That
is,
the articulated one that it's the same sculpt but it's updated. That's nice. That
yeah, like,
it's basically what Mattel is doing with Motu now. That's what the Origins line is.
yeah,
They're
what
giving that vintage buck just additional articulation.
I'm gonna pull up
I
the
think
image.
one thing might also be that the scale was so different with the Thundercats figures that I mean Lino was huge, even though he is huge. I mean they were all over the place, which
Right.
I had no issue with. Um, but it would be nice to get those figures with the articulation. Um, I like that idea. I saw I like that. That's cool.
So here you go. So conceptualized by my friend Motu Comic, Miguel Bayon.
Yes.
He basically, I love this idea, dude, because we're getting a refresh of the old, but combined with the new. So we're getting vintage replication card, vintage replication accessories, but then we're getting a brand new articulated figure with vintage sensibilities. And it's like you have to take that second look because if you see it in the toy aisle, you're like, holy shit, what's an LJN figure doing on the aisle? But it's actually like a replication. I don't know what you would even coin it, like retro collection or something. But you've got the modern sensibilities in terms of the engineering and articulation. I don't really care about the scale, and it's true what you're saying. Um, Lion-O and Mumra, they were all over the place. I think Lion-O was taller than Mumra. Um, Lion-O was probably more aching around 7.5 inches in height. So he was a little bit bigger than Ultimate's Lion-O. I really wouldn't care about that so much. I would like something that more is like everybody's scaled accurately, where Mumra would be taller. Um, but just having this, having that wider blister card with the LJN layout, the LJN design, right? Um, let's say they can't get the rights to the LJN logo on the bottom corner, but maybe convert that logo into a Super 7 where they do kind of like a mashup and put Super 7 and put the rainbow. And 'cause you know who did it really well was, um, did you see the Trick or Treat Studios Sword of Omens replica that's coming out? Dude,
Yes. Yes.
that thing is so awesome. And you look at the packaging and it looks like it's an
It
LJN
looks
figure.
exactly like that. Yes.
Oh
It
my
was really
God.
it's
So
beautiful.
things like that,
The
right?
the the guy that did that design is he just nailed it. He just nailed it. He nailed it.
So my question to you is,
You
we're
nailed it.
Super 7,
You nailed it.
we're Super 7 to announce this next year. Would you go down that rabbit hole and collect the line again in this aesthetic?
I think so. Yes, of course. I will. That's a silly question. Of course, I will. It's not. It's the idea that it's that vintage, and I would get two just so that I can keep one on the card and have the other one open.
Yes.
Obviously,
And that's what I was telling
I
Brian.
like
That's like free
this.
money for him. You know what I'm saying? Because people will be like, not only do I want to support this, but I want duplicates because the retro sensibilities make me want to have one on card rather than just one to open. You know what I mean? Because I
Well,
feel like the Ultimates lends itself more to like a open it and enjoy it aesthetic because it's all sealed and it's got the sleeve. Obviously now they got rid of the sleeve, but I feel like a vintage card like this, it would draw someone in more to buy two, you know?
well, when we started with the line a few years back, I made a similar thing with an Ultimates version in on this card pack, thinking that I would have liked to have. Um, well, okay,
Egmond
thank
is
you.
the MVP, getting Super
Um,
70.
I would have liked to have I mean we just got the DX Wave 3 line out toy version. I would have liked that one on this card. That but I understand this is much wider. That is cool. Th- th- I, there's probably a difference with how much space there is on the pegs these days in the store. So
Yeah.
I understand that Super 7 tried to squash as much as possible into that limitations that they might have in terms of packaging. That it, that's the only reason that I can think of it. But if they were to do a direct exclusive with this pack, I would love this pack. Give me this packaging. But I do like. I mean, if they could make this, but then my question would just be, is this then a different subline? Because these are not going to be ultimate scaled. Well, I don't know. Maybe not. But they could be. This is the different rabbit hole that we're going down to altogether, but I wouldn't mind this. This is nice. I like this. I do like
Yeah.
this. I wouldn't mind having that vintage buck updated to have articulation. I mean, it's just they're not following the sculpt that they're using now. They will just use that as the basis of this is the way that the arms were, this is the way that the body was, and
Yeah,
they
it's like
could. I bet they can do that.
capturing the silhouette essentially, right? So if you were to turn the lights off and you see this, you're just seeing the silhouette and you were like, oh wait, that's an LJN retro Lionel. But when you turn the lights on, guess what? It's a new modernized
Yes.
LJN retro Lionel with new articulation, and you can actually pull off some really cool poses with it. So it's yeah. And like I told Brian, you obviously are not going to go as far down the well as you did in Ultimates, but if he can do the core mutants and the core heroes in this, it would be instant sellout. And honestly, I don't think it would even need a retail support. I think if he sells it on super7.com or on the online retailers, it would be enough to drive the sales that they need to justify the production. That's honestly how I feel. And hey, Lionel is joining us. Sorry I'm late. I was playing hide and seek with Snarf and he got lost. And then Snarf is here too, man. The words are big and confusing, Lionel. Snarf, Snarf, Snarf. I don't know if you've seen our streams, man, but we got He-Man, we got Lionel. Jaga jumped in the other day into the stream. It was so cool. Let's see. Crow Process, I totally understand your point of view, but those three issues aren't my thing. I'm not for nostalgic. I'm cartoon nostalgic. Hey, that's totally cool, and everybody has their niche. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
if your nostalgia is based on the cartoons, then go for it. I gotta say honestly, I am more cartoon driven. To this day, I still don't have the toy Monkeyan or the toy Chitara, and shame on me, I guess. But I think it's just because I'm more inclined to the way those characters looked in the cartoon versus the way LJN made them. You know, not to say that I won't get them eventually, but they just weren't a priority for me. I love the Lion-O because it's just that specific look is it's so iconic. And the Mumra as well. But the Chitara is, in my opinion, she's kind of ugly, and Monkeyan is pretty ugly too. So I just
Shame on you. That Chitara, she's my first Thundercat toy I ever had, so I had to get
really.
her.
Oh, but that's
Yes,
different, man. You see what I mean? That's
yes.
your that's your
She's
style,
my
right?
go-to. She's my go-to girl.
Absolutely. My go-to, unfortunately, do you want to know what my go-to is, Egmond?
Your
Take
go-to
a wild
girl.
guess. Take a wild guess.
Your first Thundercat. Oh God.
I cannot afford.
Panthro.
I cannot afford to get my fucking go-to. I can't pay $500 for another Thunder Tank, dude. And then the fact that Brian confirmed that he's not
Oh,
going to come out,
oh.
it
Yes,
sucks, dude. Because I have the vintage Thunder Tank, loose, complete,
yes.
and I'm gonna have to track down a vintage Panthro because it's crazy to think that I can afford a vintage Panthro figure from LJN easier than a vintage toy reproduction with modern
Save up.
sensibilities.
Save up.
No,
Sell
it's
one
not
of your
that.
kidneys or do something.
What am I gonna do with that Thunder Tank, dude? I mean, the only way I could see it happening is if I had somebody that was interested in buying my classic Thunder Tank and I just replace it with the LJN because it's a matter of space too. I have my Cat Slayer at work. Okay, this is where I used to record. This was my home office. This is now my 5-year-old's. That's why you see the mermaids and unicorns and all sorts of stuff in the background. So I don't have that space that I used to have for my collectibles. I have them at work. Cat Slayer is at work. My Mumra tomb 3D printout is at work. My Thunder Tank is over there. So, I get to play with them and enjoy them and do content and stuff on the weekdays when I'm at work. But I, I don't know where the hell I would put another Thunder Tank. And quite honestly, if they ever got around to it, I'd rather have uh, a fist pounder, or some other large vehicle, instead of another Thunder Tank. Be honest with you.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Um, but who knows? We'll see what happens. I mean, it can always be something where, like, some people sometimes what they do is they'll buy an item to get the bonus piece, and then they'll just sell the item.
Yes.
For
Yes.
me, it's like maybe I get lucky and somebody's selling the Panthro because they don't like that Panthro and they're just selling the Panthro loose, and I'll probably just pick that up for like $100 or something like that. Um, let's see, Jordan from Canada says, "Glad I could make it. Cheers, JP. We want more Thundercats and chat." Oh, Lionel says, "Whoa, Narf, snarf, snarf." Um, oh my God, Chitara's in the party too. I can't do her voice. I'm so honored you
I'm
guys
not.
love
I'm not
me.
even gonna try it.
I'm so humbled by it. Oh, you're welcome, Chitara. You're like absolutely, a beautiful female from my history and my childhood. And, like I've always said, I just want like the best representation of you out there. And I feel like that still hasn't happened. So, hopefully one day we'll get that ultimate Chitara that like checks all the boxes in terms of like aesthetic, accessories, articulation. Mondo looks like they nailed it with the face sculpts. Um, I'm a little critical when it comes to her new costume. I'm not 100% subscribed to that, but I appreciate it for what it is, and I know that hopefully in the future we'll get a more classic iteration that's more akin to the Rankin Bass cartoon. Um,
You know, her costume. It looks like she's from Africa. And I mean, I'm
yeah,
from Africa, but it looks like she's from Africa. That's the traditional African wear. So,
really,
well,
that's an
around here.
interesting.
So
Yeah, now that you mention that,
it doesn't fit. Doesn't
it
fit. I'm
does give
sorry.
that Wakanda vibe
Yes,
of like Black
yes,
Panther.
yes.
Absolutely,
Uh,
dude. But yeah, man,
it's
like
beautiful. It is beautiful. I'm not gonna say it's ugly. It is beautiful.
the
But
head portraits are
but
beautiful.
that's their line. So it fits with their stuff. So that's good for that. But that's not my Chitara.
Thank you for your your all the Thundercat support. Oh, you're welcome, Katara. We're big fans here. And
Yes.
Egmont, I was gonna ask you, man, like there's another obviously a big Thundercats thing that's going on right now, and it is super, super, super like big and interesting, and it has gone in so many directions, and it's the Thundercats Dynamite Comics comic series. So
Yes.
I know that you have, like me, you've had the opportunity to talk to a lot of the creators behind the scenes, and I'm curious to know: are you following the storyline? Are you caught up with the narrative? How do you feel about the direction the comic books has taken, man?
I'm very behind. I'm really very behind. The last I actually completed was the Chitara series, um, and the same uh, main storyline comic that came out up to that point. I have not been able to get to get beyond the rest. I've just had way too much going on in my life, unfortunately. So I have seen lots of the pictures, and I'm so curious to get into Thundercats Lost because Bumara is in there. I love Bumara; she's awesome. And they've got new Thundercats in there. So I'm very happy to see, and I believe there's a Panther coming out, or it's out already. I don't know. The
Yeah,
Apex thing was rather interesting. I didn't read the Apex one yet, but that was a I called it. I actually called the guy out on it while we were talking about it, and he didn't. He denied. Well, he didn't deny it, but I was actually correct.
Oh,
It
so you
was
know,
Liner from
yeah,
from
yeah.
from the future or whatever. But that was it was. I'm very happy that it's taken on a new life. I mean, a friend of mine in New Zealand messaged me the other day about the comics, just out of the blue. Send me a link. Oh, my husband said, just look at this. I was like, oh, that's so cool, because she knows I'm a Thundercats fan, and it was like, oh, this is really cool that people across the globe are loving this, which is fantastic. I mean, for me, it's always a case of Thundercats as an IP deserves all the love it can get. So it doesn't matter what iteration it comes in. That's why I'm very supportive of the Mondo line in terms of what they do. They must have a lot of success with it. The comic books are doing so well. I'm just so pleased that, and even with the Moto crossover, it's people are getting Thundercats everywhere, which is wonderful. I mean, Moto has been around a bit longer, and people our age are are very familiar with it. But if Thundercats can get that same passion and love for that the Moto lot has gotten, it's great. That's why I keep pushing for Thundercats, because I just love it. It made such an. I was a bit too late for Moto when I grew up, um, and I was aware of it, but Thundercats was the one that hooked me. So that's
100%.
why.
Like the reason you and I are here, right, is because of the love that we have for the brand. The reason why, you couldn't make it clearer than the day where it's like, we want more Thundercats. That's what you branded your account as, and that's really, I think that the goal that you set out to accomplish has really resonated, and it's made its mark because we got Super Seven, we got comics, we got Mondo, we got Iron Studios doing some beautiful statues. Um, we got Trick or Treat Studios doing props, masks. You know, we've got
There's
my
Pops as well.
my good friend in Argentina, Rolo Ween. He has done
Yes.
some
Oh, he makes
beautiful masks.
amazing,
Beautiful.
stunning. I love
You
his
don't
work.
know how
Stunning,
bad I
stunning,
want
stunning,
to get
stunning.
that Panthro bust with the nunchucks to hang on his shoulders.
I love
But
the Pumara that is made. His work is impeccable.
yeah,
It's
man. And I'm
fabulous.
always busting his balls about like, dude, when are you gonna do Lino? When are you gonna do? And he's more about like instead of doing the predictable, he wants to do the unpredictable. So he's more aching to like do a monkey in, for example. And I'm like, oh, that's you're talking my language there because monkey is my absolute favorite mutant. So if imagine a Roloween monkey, dude. I
Yes,
think
it
I
would
think if
be.
there's a mask that I would cough up, 700 plus for, it would be a Munkin. No, it's like really expensive, but it's just one of those things that's just not everybody's gonna own, and it's just like a special
Yes.
special item. Jordan from Canada says, question for the panel: hypothetical speaking, is there a toy line that you guys wish Thundercats would emulate as far as selection and number of figures, even if it doesn't exist anymore? Hmm. Let's see. How do I construct that question? What, I'm guessing what he's saying is there a toy line that we would like to see as robust of a selection of toys as Super Seven has done with Thundercats that is hasn't been tackled yet? Does anything
Bionic
come to
6.
mind for you?
Bionic 6, but there isn't that many. The thing is, Bionic 6 is most likely going to be like Silverhawks in terms of there's only going to be a few waves, and then it's going to be done. Um, Brave Star as well is also going to be like a smaller
Well, Brave
selection
Star
of
is happening,
characters.
by the way. I don't know if you found out, but
Yes, I
Mongo's
saw that
doing
somebody
Brave
is doing
Star.
Yes,
And they're
yes,
doing
I
them
saw
in
that.
1/12 scale. So they're not going to be 12-inch scale figures. And I was
Mm,
going to ask you about that because Mondo has been asked and they've mentioned that there is the possibility now that they've explored the 1/12 world. I own the real Ghostbusters figures, and those figures are incredible. Let me tell you, if Mondo were to announce 2 years from now that they're doing Thundercats in that scale, would you pull the trigger?
Firstly, I don't know what is. I don't have any. I've never seen 112, so I don't know. And remember,
So
you
112 is
guys work in inches. I
this
don't
is
know what
112. This is 112.
is that 112.
Yeah.
Is it 7 inch? Is that what
112,
it is?
112
Okay,
scale is what it's called. So
okay, okay.
other people refer to it as a 6 inch or 7 inch scale. So it's like
We work in centimeters over here. We don't have inches where I live, so
oh,
I
okay.
just go according to what Google tells me what an inch is.
So if Mondo
So
were
okay,
to
so
make 112 Thundercats, what
well,
would
I mean, I would be all for it. Like I said, the more successful Thundercats, the better, and I would be very happy if they did it. And Mondo does make great figures, so if they made it, and I've seen their Ghostbuster stuff, I've seen pictures of it. That is beautiful. That is really beautiful. Oh, talking about that, that is another line. The Filmation Ghostbusters. That one I would love.
oh,
I would
that would
love
be
that.
really cool
That
with the
is so
gorilla and the jeep. You
yes,
know? Yeah,
yes, yes. I love that. There's a lot of characters for you. There's a lot of characters.
yeah.
But if Mondo did 112 Thundercats, I would think that it would not go as deep as Super 7. I don't think so. I think they'll stick with a core lot, and I won't blame them because I mean we've already gotten all of these characters. Um, would people want duplicates? But if their work is unique, so it's not going to be the same thing. It's going to be different. So I would say it depends on what it looks like, but I'm sure it's going to look fantastic. So I would love to see it. I would be very happy. I mean, I'm happy there's Motu stuff out now with Thundercats. I might not get it, but I'm very happy there is stuff out there. So I'm always going to say yes for more Thundercats.
If you look at I don't know if you've seen pictures of the most recent, the 2000X Motu figures. They have a He-Man and a Clawful, right? And those are this scale. But they have soft goods, they have multiple heads, they have a display base, alternate hands. It's almost like Ultimates on crack, right? And they're about $100 each. So that's kind of like the direction that Thundercats would take with Mondo, where it's like maybe about $40 more than what you pay with Super 7, but you would be getting like kind of the same thing as they did with the 12-inch Lion-O, but you would get like 3 or 4 iterations of that character in one because you'll have accessories and things to display the figure in so many ways that you would only have to need that one like definitive one figure. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things where I would totally be subscribed to that idea. I would totally support it financially. I would buy them. I would collect them, and it's something that a lot of people are asking for because there's with Super 7 there's the fulfillment of how far they've gone with character selection and stuff like that. But then there's still things where people feel like they still need certain things addressed that Super 7 hasn't addressed, like articulation, posing. I'm still thinking that one of these two companies, either Mondo or Super 7, have to come up with maybe an alternate torso that already has Lionel in this pose, holding the sword. So that if you want to do it, you don't have to worry about making the articulation work, but just already having him in that static pose. Mondo has done it. I don't know if you've seen, for example, they have a Bane. They did a Batman the Animated Series Bane. And what they did was they produced an entirely separate torso of him like just going like this. And that is just a solid piece. There's no articulation.
Okay.
You pop it on the lower torso and you can pull off that iconic pose. So I feel like maybe if someone ends up doing it, it'll be Mondo with like a future iteration of Lionel, because their version wasn't able to do this either. Like he could hold the Sword of Omens. Actually, no, I could put him like this, holding the Sword of Omens, but not straight up. It's just very the engineering, man. It's really tricky. Like I feel like the only companies that could pull stuff off like that would be third party companies like in Japan or China with like their crazy engineering and new bodies and stuff like that, you know? Uh, Lionel
Well,
was saying, "Hey, Pumaira." So Pumaira joined the party. No, not Pumaira, Pumra.
Pumra, Pumra.
Good day, my dear precious friends. He kind of talked like Mumra. Pumra, ho! From Orlando, Florida. So glad you both dedicate to Thundercats. One of my top cartoons and toy lines growing up. Love the Super 7 line. Do you all think we will get Snow Meow? We were talking about that earlier, Wolverine, and we think eventually we will. The question is, will we get just Snow Meow or will we get him as a combo with Snowman again? You know, it's just an interesting subject, but it's kind of like I don't think he'll come with Snowman. And if we do get Snowman, there would have to be some sort of variant or re-release because we got the Electro Charger and we got Mandora separately. We got the toy Vulture Man and we got the Sky Cutter separately. So while they go together, they're not in a two pack because it'll make it so pricey that it's forcing people to kind of like what's going on with Panther and the Thunder Tank right now. It's that turmoil. It's like, damn, I really want this Panther, but I already have a Thunder Tank. Like, can I really afford an extra $500 for the space for that Thunder Tank? You know, so
Well, I
hopefully
mean,
it
they
happens.
have the sculpt for Snowman, so it would make sense if they were to reissue him for those who didn't buy him back then, if they were to reissue Snowman with a Snowmare. But if that happens, I hope so. I would love that. I mean, we all have the argument about there is a Battle Cat out there, a sculpt that they have used, but I think Super Seven wouldn't want to just reuse that. I mean, it's not their sculpt. It's from the Motu line, by Mattel. But it would be good to get the Snow Meow. But I hope so. I really hope so.
Yeah, no,
I hope so.
I
I hope
think
people still ask for it.
I'm curious about you know the possibility of Snowman being able to ride his mount
Oh, he can. He can. He can.
because he can sit,
Let's see.
right? He can sit on top of.
No, no, you can do the splits. You can do the splits properly.
Okay,
So he
yeah.
can
So
definitely sit on something.
so when
I
they
mean,
designed him,
I've got
they
a
already
water
had that
bottle
in
here,
mind.
so I mean, he goes on very easy.
Okay, yeah. So
So
they had that in mind, I think, when they designed him, and you know what they could do is they could do like a redeco. I would have to revisit that episode, um, or maybe have like a deco where it looks like his armor and stuff has like snow on it, have like
yes,
snow
yes,
effect on it.
yes. That's a
That's it.
fantastic. I mean, they did that with Lionel's weapons, where they put snow on it when they
Yeah,
did
it
the
could be like a
frozen
cool
version of him.
effect, like a frosting kind of effect to
Yes,
his, like his shield and stuff could have, maybe a different type of color to it. Maybe like a more blue versus like the
yes.
the toned down gray, and he could have, like snow. I think that would be perfect. And I think if Snow Meow is
That's a clever
released,
way to reissue him.
people will buy him again.
Yes,
Um,
yes. I will.
So I didn't mention what my Super 7 line would be as far as how robust Thundercats is. And mine is a little funny because it's not grounded to one particular IP. Mine is the Hanna-Barbera universe. There are so many awesome there's such a big library of characters to draw from there. We have Thundar, we have Herculoids, we have um, Blue Falcon and Dynamite. We have Space Ghost. There's so much awesome characters that they could do in the Ultimates universe that I think it's kind of like when they had the Simpsons. Unfortunately, that line, came
Oh,
to a
that would have
conclusion.
gone. That could have gone so far. That
Yeah,
that.
but
Oh,
but I
what a
mean,
pity. What a
yeah, but I
pity.
mean the Hanna Barbera universe. You imagine that, dude? Isn't Black
I
Star
I
part of Hanna Barbera also? I think
I
so.
think so. I think
So
so. I
imagine
think so.
Black Star, Thunder, Herculoids, Blue Falcon and Dynamite, Scooby Doo. I mean, dude, it's
The
like
Flintstones, the
Flintstones,
Jetsons.
Jetsons, Laugh Olympics, Huckleberry Hound, Yogi Bear. Like, I mean, Captain
Yeah.
Caveman, dude. How awesome would a Captain Caveman Ultimates figure be? You know? So that's what my go-to would be. And I think I've mentioned that to Brian before about getting the Hanna-Barbera library. That would be amazing. Um, let me see. Wolverine says, makes sense. Hope it's separate with a re-release Snowman for those who missed out. Yes. Um, Ka- Kamiya 616. I know you guys are against double joints. Hey, I'm not. I'm not against double joints, and neither is
No, he's
Egmond.
not.
He's
I
just
am
not
for this line.
for this line. Yeah.
Yes.
Once the line is done, they can revamp the entire line again with double joints, with just the main character. Yes,
No, they won't
I
do
am
that.
completely
They won't do
subscribed
that.
to that idea. I would
I
totally
know. I know you are.
I would totally get them. But if, in case you're just jumping on, me and Egman were talking about a really interesting thing that was confirmed on the last interview Egman had with Brian, and that is that when the 2011 figures hit the Ultimates line, they will feature double joints. So while you're not going to get a Rankin Bass Lino with double joints, we're going to get the Cartoon Network iteration with double joints, and that's super exciting because I love that aesthetic and design for Lionel in what it was in the 2011 cartoon. So we're definitely going to get double joints, whether it's one way or another. Um, why did we only get Sly's variants and not Jackalmans or Monkeys? You know,
Well,
maybe those lizard men didn't sell as well, right?
no, well, I don't think it's a case of them not selling well. I mean, I don't know how available they are at present. Um, I, I'm just thinking, Monkian is, no matter which episode you look where there's the army builders, they are all exactly the same. There's not
Yeah,
one with a different skirt or a different anything. They are
right.
exactly the same. Jackalman, on the other hand, I think there's a very good reason why we haven't seen him yet. First of all, he needs to be resculpted. He was with the Mattel factory, so he needs to be resculpted. Then we'll get him pinless, firstly, again, finally. And then that will be a perfect example where they can issue him as a toy variant as well, and then also use that same buck to give us the, 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 the the guards and the warriors and all of those. I mean, they it's the same buck, but they can have different faces, and they can. Some of them had a piece on here at the top. Some of them were bare chested. The skirts were well, those loincloths were different colors. So there's definitely, I think, an opportunity to us for us to still get the Jackalman army builder team, and I wouldn't mind seeing three different ones. I mean, even that Argentina variant with the blue and the dark brown skin, that would be
Mhm.
a great opportunity for Jackalman. So I wouldn't give up hope on Jackalman being re-released in the future. We still need him pinners
I
and
totally
in the
agree. I
eggs.
think he definitely needs an upgrade because I think Monkian is, you know, he's almost perfect. I would say if he was a little bit, if they were to figure out a way to make the head articulation give him more range of motion in the head, I think that would be awesome. And maybe give him like pinless. Does he have pinless joints? I
Yes,
don't. He does. Yeah. So
yes.
if he's pinless, yeah, I think he's perfect. I don't think they would revisit Monkey, and I think Jacqueline, like you said, he's the only one that really needs a redo, and then they can flourish on that body and do all the variants and do like army builders and stuff. What I'm curious, and I don't think it would ever happen, but if they eventually get to a nosediver, would they ever
Yes,
consider re-engineering Slithe?
they would have to.
He could ride.
They would
but
have to,
no one really.
or they'd have to or they'd have to change the cockpit or the interior that you can take something else so that you can fit in with the way he
Yeah,
currently is built.
I think it would be
That
easier for them to do it that way than to redesign Slide again, you know,
yeah,
and just make it so it's universally um, welcoming to all the different body types. You know, that
yes.
would be kind of a challenge, but I think they could pull it off. Um, let's see, we have a question. I appreciate Super Seven, but I imagine if Jada Toys got the Thundercats license. So that's an interesting subject. Jada is right now on like the $25 mark. They're doing an amazing job with their Street Fighter figures, and the Scooby Doo figures are just fantastic. I absolutely love them. Um, who knows? I would love to see them tackle Thundercats, but I feel like a lot of people are just kind of avoiding that license because Super Seven's collection is so robust that no other company is really going to go as far as Super Seven has. So I feel like it's not, I don't know if the right word is monopoly, but I feel like Super Seven just really has the ground floor in terms of a Thundercats core collection being established. You know, if we look at Motu Classics with Mattel, they went super heavy on that line, but then now introduced Masturbate, and now they're reintroducing all these new characters with this new buff and new articulation. So, never to be said that it won't happen, but I think if something like that would ever happen, we would need some sort of new Thundercats media out there. We would need either like a like a Netflix animated series, or we would need a feature film. I don't think if there's any media out there, I don't think anybody will take the risk. What do you think?
Yeah, I hope we get a movie. I mean, it all depends on how, and I've heard fantastic things about the new Moto movie coming out. So
Yes, me too.
if that is already garnering such fantastic reaction from the test audiences, it is going to work, and it's going to pave the way for Thundercats to eventually happen. Maybe they just haven't announced it yet. They're probably developing something in the background. I know there was something a few years back, but hopefully they're developing it in secret to see how this Motu gets reaction from the public, and then just jump right in. It would be Motu is doing the work for us at the moment, and that's fine. I don't mind it. It's I mean I'll love a He-Man movie and add She-Ra in the sequel, and I'm very happy. But give me a Thundercats movie, please. But please just don't give them fur. I don't like that.
No, I think what is your take on what kind of approach they should take when they do a Thundercats live action movie? Do you want actors in makeup and costumes, or do you want more of like a CGI type pseudo realistic film?
Well, that's the thing. When they first announced that the first version of the movie, and they dropped those CGI images, or that clip where Lionel and Slythe was, I think it was with Slythe that he was fighting. I didn't like that. It was cool, but that wasn't Thundercats. That however looked a bit more like the 2011 version. Um,
Right,
but how would I? If I think of Thundercats, I immediately think of the original cartoon. That is always where my mind is going to go to. So it's the same probably the reaction with people thinking when you think X-Men, you're going to the X-Men cartoon and the X-Men comic books. When they came out with those first few movies of X-Men, um, the costumes weren't right. They were all in black. It wasn't the way that the cartoon was. Eventually, I mean, just a few years back, we finally got Wolverine in his yellow suit and his actual cartoon look, and that was amazing. People loved that. That is how we familiar how we associate ourselves with Wolverine. So,
right.
um, if Thundercats comes out, it would have to be something that looks like the original show, but um, I can also see it doing an iteration of the 2011 cartoon with that
That's
look, because that's a bit more realistic and that would translate easier into the screen. So
yeah,
I wouldn't mind that. It's tough because the 80s costumes were just way out, but with the 2011 look, that can work with human actors just having whatever fur added onto them or strange hairstyles or whatever. That would work realistically a bit better, and people might be more acceptable to that. But I don't know how people are gonna react. Do we want to CGI Thundercats? But yes, I would like that. But then it has to look like the old cartoon.
So what I would like to see is practical effects mixed with CGI. So I would like to see humans, like in bodysuits and stuff, like when it comes to the creatures, the mutants, stuff like that, and then bring their their faces and their expressions to life with CGI. Um, they could still pull off practical effects with, doing motorized um, effects, masks, and stuff like that. But I wouldn't mind a little bit of CGI. Now, as far as when it comes to the narrative, I completely share your sentiment when it comes to the challenge of representing the iconography of the 80s, where, all these all these male bodies in Speedos, right? But I feel like it could be a blend of what they're doing with the Dynamite comics, where they're not in underwear, they're kind of like in biker shorts, or in some case pants. Um, I wouldn't be completely opposed of that, but I don't know, man. It's tricky because I feel like people would kind of understand that they're in underwear because it's another universe, it's another world. Um, they just got to make it in a way where instead of being straight up like Speedos, they could probably be more like kind of biker shorts, something like that, and then maybe they can transition because, like in all movies, like for marketing purposes, they change their costumes progressively through the narrative of the movie. So they could be introduced, like let's say when they first land on Third Earth, they got the Speedos, and then eventually to adapt to their surroundings or whatever, and then they start wearing pants or they wear shorts. But at least for us, they gave us that fan service where we're going to get that classic iteration of the character at least in a 10-minute sequence. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, and then incorporating 2011 elements would be cool as well. I wouldn't be completely opposed of that. The only thing that I would be 100% opposed of, and Jay and I were talking about this before, is them in any way having any type of relationship with planet Earth. There's no reason to incorporate Earth in the narrative because it has never been part of the narrative. It's Third Earth, which is a completely different planet and has nothing to do with our planet. So, um, you know, putting the Thundercats in today's society, it's a big
No,
no for me.
you're talking about them landing where it's New York is up and running, and there's cars and
Well,
taxis and all that. So
not
that.
necessarily New York. I mean, they could land in the Grand Canyon. You know what I'm saying? But it's just
Mhm.
there's no place for the Thundercats here on Earth. Like no landmarks, nothing that has to do with
Yes,
our world or
absolutely.
planet should be in those stories. Nothing. You
Well,
know.
except for the pyramids, it needs to be it
Yeah,
needs to
but
be third Earth in the future. So that
right. But what I'm
that
saying when it comes to the pyramids, if they say, "Oh, this is Egypt," no, it's like no.
they could talk about the Sphinx. They could talk about the Sphinx, but that's as far as it goes. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think because the thing is in the cartoon, the very first few minutes you see Jupiter is there. It's our planet. It's definitely our planet, but it's our planet in the future. So whenever that happens, it's
Yeah, it's like a
long past
it's like
now.
a multiverse. It's like maybe if you think about it in a way where it could be before the dinosaurs or like after our lifetime,
Yes,
like
yes. That's how I thought it was. I thought it to me it was after our lifetime. It's in the future. It's
yeah,
far in
it
the
could
future. I mean, we they're flying spaceships and stuff like that. So that has to be. Well, we're not there yet.
it could be it could be, but so something that's really exciting, man, that I'm pretty sure you're privy to is the current convention, Motuniverse. It's happening right now. Actually, the campaign raised 682 dollars so far, and we're still taking late backers. So if you still want to contribute to this and make this a bigger venue, than what it already is shaped to be, you could still back the project. I'm putting links here in the chat for anybody that wants to check it out. This is basically um, a a convention that is for the love cohesively of Master of the Universe, but not just that, Thundercats. I've been super excited to have some creative involvement in this, where I designed an illustration of Lion-O and He-Man in tandem to celebrate these two powerhouse icons of animation and pop culture. And it's really exciting to know that Thundercats is going to have a home at this convention. There's going to be, we still don't have the details nailed down, but there's definitely going to be some sort of Thundercats inspired programming, whether it's reruns of the classic cartoons or a museum of the vintage toys. We're still working on those details, but it's awesome to know that this is not just a Masters of the Universe fueled convention. And eventually, we can have ThunderCon. That's my goal, is to somehow, some way in the near future have a Thundercats based convention here in the States. And how awesome would that be, Egmond? Would that entice you to fly over here and
Fly me over, just like that. Yes, fly me over. I'm
have
coming.
you
I'm
have you
coming.
been
I'm
to
on my
the,
way.
to the States, dude? Have you been here in the US before?
I've only been to Europe. I've not been to the States now.
Oh man. Yeah. It would be awesome, dude, to like for you to fly over, be part of the show, and also
Yes.
like imagine if we had like a live roundtable discussion streaming live from the event where people can participate, there personally or like socially through social media or through like YouTube and stuff like that. That would be so awesome. But yeah, Multiverse is happening. It's going to be in Redondo Beach, California. And if you go to the link in the chat, you could still, be a late backer and you could back the project. You could get tickets. You could buy merch. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they're selling a print of my artwork. And there's a lot of other goodies that are still have not been announced. But yeah, definitely that's going to be an awesome and exciting thing coming next year. So let's see here. We have let's see, MJR. Oh yeah, he put it up. I guess Mega J sent the link. So Snarf of Thundera. I always dreamed of being in Hollywood, being a Hollywood star. Lionel, Snarf, Snarf. Let's see what he goes. Fragments. Hey, Fragments, what's up, man? How's it going, man? Hey, have you seen what Fragments is doing? He's done some
I have.
awesome 3D custom stuff, dude. He's
Yes.
working
Beautiful work.
on a conversion kit for the Thunder Tank, where you
I
can
saw that.
actually have
I saw
more seating space for
at
the
the back.
cats inside the tank and like a raised platform where you can actually have the figures standing there and they can, man the cannon and a little bit better. Fragments is doing so. He's doing God's work, like in his lab. Uh, Lionel Thundera, what a beautiful piece of art you did, JP, of me and my brother from another mother, He-Man. Thank you, Lionel. I appreciate the love, man. So, so yeah, man. I think, dude, it's been awesome. I know you gotta be going to bed and putting the dogs away. It's been so awesome catching up, talking shop.
Yes, thank
It's been a
you.
while. We've been
Thank
talking
you.
about this for a while. Um, obviously, we've got for me, I've got five figures to look forward to, six figures in total. If you think about the Mondo Mumra to look forward to for the holidays. So that's a lot of upcoming content, a lot of discussion. We can revisit once we have the Safari Joe wave in hand, and we can do a deep dive on those. But man, what an awesome way to wrap up 2025 with so many
Yes.
cool Thundercats items, right? Like
Yeah.
from the likes of Super 7 and that massive Mondo Mumra that's coming out. So I can't wait to get the Mumra personally because I'm gonna put it next to Cat Slayer and I'm gonna do a scene like if it's like
Yes.
the all powerful
From the
attack.
two. Yes. 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 I
Dude,
want to see that because, it, like you said, it fits in perfectly. So, I'd
yeah,
like to see that.
And I'm gonna also be working on this weekend. I'm getting supplies. I'm gonna be sanding and preparing my Mumra's tomb so I can start hopefully painting it. My goal is to have it painted just in time for the arrival of the Mondo Mumra for
Okay.
toy photography as well. I mean, you've already seen
Awesome.
how awesome it scales with the Super 7 stuff. So it's that's going to be a beautiful addition to the collection, and hopefully, maybe I don't think 2026 is going to be the time, but hopefully in 2027 we get like a Mumra's tomb. That would be awesome from Super 7.
Yes,
I
please.
know I know Brian has been thinking about it for a while. And I think if it wasn't for the tariffs, I think we would have probably had a Mumra's tomb next year. But uh,
Yes.
2027 is right around the corner. Before you know it, like we're midway through
Yes.
2026 and three waves in with tiger sharks, and so it's like
Yes.
it's awesome to be a collector right now. Just having all these awesome figures coming out, and dude, it's been awesome again. Like joining you, getting to nerd out on such an awesome hobby and such an awesome IP. I know that you recently spoke to Peter Lawrence. I recently talked to him and was featured on his blog. He is such an awesome guy, and I'm planning on doing a Spanish stream where we're going to be talking to Peter in Spanish. We're going to be answering questions about the show, about the episodes. So that's something that I'm super excited about because I've mentioned this before a lot. There is so much fandom on a worldwide scope in Central
Yes.
America, South
Yes.
America, Mexico, where I feel like there's not enough representation in social media about Thundercats for that Spanish speaking audience. And I'm going to make a big change in that coming forward, where I'm going to be doing, every other month or two, be doing like a Spanish centric based stream to cater all these Spanish fans and stuff. Because I think it's really important to spread the love through all of our ethnicities. I think that's very
Yes.
important, you know.
I know,
But
I know. I'm often surprised at how they celebrate Thundercats. It's
yes,
like it's like a culture there. It's massive. And I often get messages in Spanish from people that ask me stuff, and I'm sorry, what? I just got one today. I'm sorry, English, please. And I mean, my first language isn't even English. I speak Afrikaans, so it's. I'm so happy that Thundercats has touched so many people's lives, and good on you. I mean, it was really awesome seeing you speak Spanish to other collectors earlier. About Thundercats, that's fantastic.
yeah, I think it's really important because, like I said, I noticed when I go live on Instagram, everything is like, "Hello from Argentina," "Hello from Colombia," "Hello from Chile," and I don't get as many comments in English. So it that really proves to me that the demographic is I think stronger on the Spanish speaking end than on the English speaking end. And and maybe that's a skewed perception because of what I see from my social media account. But I don't see as many English, people in the United States or people in the UK chiming in on these streams and stuff like that as much as I do see people from Argentina, Chile, Peru, Colombia. You know what I'm saying? And Peter is in Colombia as well. And, he was talking about that awesome experience where he had a discussion in a college. And the first thing that come out of a 20 something year old's mouth is that,
The
how did you get
Thundercats.
into Thundercats?
Yes.
He's like, wait a minute. I've done so many things in my career. And you want to talk about Thundercats? Let's do it,
Wow.
So that's wonderful, man. Oh, He-Man's chiming in. Did someone say Motuniverse? I agree, Lion-O. JP's art of us was so powerful. Thank you, He-Man. Appreciate that. Jordan from Canada says, please bring back Egmond. Absolutely. The problem with Egmond is that it's such a big difference in time zones. Egmond's going to bed now when we finish streaming, and my day has just started. So it's a little bit challenging, but we'll try to do it as often as we
We'll
can.
try it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jordan.
Getting more passionate international Thundercats fans sounds amazing. Thank you, Jordan from Canada. So, Egmont, thank you so much, man, for joining me. I hope you have an
Thanks for having
awesome
me.
rest of your weekend. Definitely
Thank you.
Let's see if we can do something when Safari Joe Wave lands, or if we can't pull that off, maybe when King Lionel and Red Eye are in hand, and then we could just do like a whole wrap up of those five figures. That would be a cool
Yes.
deep dive. But again, thank you so much, man, for getting out of your time zone here to join me. But it's been really
Thank you
fun.
for having me.
Happy holidays to you. Have
And
an
to you
awesome
too.
rest of your year. And everybody that's joined here, thank you so much for being part of the Thundercats Lair. We'll be seeing you again next week. Me and Mega J will have some new content. So tune in and let everybody know to subscribe to the Thundercats Lair and as well to my good friend's channel. We Want More Thundercats. He's always got some awesome videos, and I love his intros and the artwork that he does for his videos and his thumbnails. You could see he puts a lot of love into this. So thanks again, guys. Have an awesome weekend. Thanks for tuning in. And Egmond, let's close out the show. Thunder, rating it on three.
Thunder.
Thunder,
Thunder.
thunder,
Thunder.
thunder.
Thundercats.
Thundercats. Oh, remember, it's always three
I want
thunders.
to. Is there anything? I don't know. I never know. Sometimes it's four, something. I don't know.
Me,
I don't know.
me and
I'm
Jay
sorry.
always fuck it up. So no worries, man. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Have an
Cheers.
awesome rest of your weekend. We'll see you.